Hey, I'm Spencer Harro. I'm a private pilot and an instruments rated pilot. I officially started lessons in a Cessna 172 when I was 17, and I had the opportunity to fly for my entire senior year. I was even able to solo around the same time I got my driver's license, so that was pretty cool. I passed my instrument check ride about the same time it took me to do the private check ride, about a year and a half. When you get your pilot's license, you learn a lot more than you think you would. You have to tackle subjects like meteorology and aircraft physics, air traffic control communications, situational awareness so you know where you are all the time. But most importantly, one of the big takeaways is exactness. You have to be very exact when you're a pilot. It's very challenging, and what happens that I didn't realize at the time when I was training is that precision you have to demonstrate spills over into a lot of areas of life, and you become a more precise person in general. So I found that a very cool byproduct of learning to fly. So my love for flying really began when I was 5 or 6 years old. My parents found me a video called Cleared for Takeoff, and it showed some really cool aspects of the flying. Everything from baggage handling and walking around an aircraft to landing, aircraft maintenance, fire departments at airports, and everything in between. And that's what sparked my interest in flying. And then I also had an uncle who was a FedEx captain, and his son is also a pilot. So between those two people that I talk with pretty frequently, I also got a lot of interest in flying. Then one Christmas, I had Microsoft Flight Simulator under the tree, and that was huge. I took my first flight on there and I was hooked. Then on my 16th birthday, I had my first introduction flight where I got up in a small airplane for the first time. After my first flight lesson, I enrolled in a Sporty's ground school course, which they enable you to do it for free when you're a student pilot. You can sign up for it, and when you go through all the lessons and pass the quizzes, you're able to get a free flight lesson. So that was a pretty good goal for me. So I started learning the private pilot ground material through Sporty's. At first, when I started training, I thought maybe I'd fly commercially. But as I've done it more, I've thought this is a really fun hobby, and I might stick to that. If you're interested in flying, it's not as difficult as many people will tell you. There are a lot of subjects you do have to understand when you're learning. You have to understand all those factors we've talked about. But in the midst of these challenges, it's the thrill of flying that keeps you going every time. It's so worth it just to get in the air and feel the thrill every time, and that will keep you learning even when it's tough. The first thing I would recommend is buy a copy of Microsoft Flight Simulator. That's a great way to fly around a little bit on your computer and get a feel for if this is the kind of thing you would like to do. Next, I would recommend taking an introductory flight at a local flight school. They'll take you up in the air for about half an hour, and you get to circle around the area, and they let you take the controls usually. So it's pretty fun to get a feel for the real aircraft, and if that's what you'd like to do. And if you're still interested, go for Sporty's online ground school. What they do on that course is teach you all aspects of your private pilot training. When you complete the course, you get a free flight lesson, and it's a little bit longer than your intro flight, so you might have the opportunity to fly a little bit farther on your lesson. Another thing you can do is you can go to American Flyers, and they have a program where if you take a quiz, they'll send you a free textbook. They'll give you all the elements you need for your private pilot license ground school instruction. So they send you a textbook that has all the chapters your flight school would basically cover, and it's a good supplemental reference in case you need it. Also, they give you a subscription to Flying Magazine for several months, and I found that magazine subscription very helpful. They gave several articles on case studies from accidents and from lessons people learned from flying, and I thought it was a great way to apply some principles other people had learned before me. We'll have a link to all these things down in the description. Overall, I think it's been a great thing to get my pilot's license. It was great to start young. I was able to fly when I had time, and now that I'm in college, it's a lot harder to do, so I appreciated having that chance. And it's fun to say you got your driver's license about the same time you soloed. That's pretty cool. Even if you don't fly commercially, it's super fun as a hobby, and you have your pilot's license for life. So you're once a pilot and always a pilot, because you can always pick it up again. So if you can get it, it's super worth it, and you learn many things in the process. All right, let's go fly.